as I prepared for the speech, I began to think about the goodness of God. I was homeschooled through second grade, and then from there on until freshman year, I went to Harrisburg Public School. School was very easy for me, and while I was popular, I didn't have a lot of close friends, and I kind of always felt like an outsider for my Christian beliefs. My family is very tied to Harrisburg, though. My dad went to school there, he coached there, and he was even on the school board. And my mom even worked there too. But my freshman year, my dad decided to coach JV girls basketball here at SC. And we have a lot of family here, so he just wanted to spend more time with them. And as you seniors know, March of our freshman year, COVID hit. Yes, everyone went online, did Zoom, but online for us looked a little bit different. We did not do Zoom at all, and we had a lack of accountability to turn our work in. So before sophomore year started, my mom got a teaching job here, and they decided to send my brothers here. And I had the option to either come here or to continue on the path I was on, which was transition to finishing high school at a community college. So at first, I was very opposed to coming here. I planned to do an early college program at Lynn Benton, where I would take all of my classes at Lynn Benton. And so my senior year, I'd be graduating with both my high school diploma and my associate's degree. But since COVID, everything was online, and I didn't know how that would look on the college level. And I'm a person who needs that face-to-face learning. And I knew St. Anne Christian would be online too, but probably not as long as other places. And I also wanted to get the high school experience, especially since my freshman year, I didn't even get to finish it in person. And I know this may be hard to believe, but I'm very shy, and I did not want to make new friends. That seemed very stressful. And I knew that this school would be harder academically, and so I'm smart, but Harrisburg is also just really easy, so I was worried I wouldn't be able to be as successful here. So I battled with this decision of either getting a head start at life or to be a real high schooler. And so I really had to put my trust in God. The verse Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord God with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." And that summer, I began to trust God for my path. As I trusted in God, doors began to close for the Lynn Benton path, while doors began to open for coming here. Looking back now, I can see all the goodness God put into my life. I have made the best friends here, and I finally have that Christian community I was looking for. I'm so blessed I had the opportunity to come here, and this has genuinely been the best decision of my entire life. And even though I have to start college at the same time as everyone else, I'm way more prepared now. I've learned so many useful study skills, and I know I'll be successful in college. Overall, God is so good. The verse Psalms 34:8 says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him." Okay, next up we have Reagan Gurney.
One of the hardest parts of high school is finding where you as an individual fit in and can be yourself. Now, I don't mean fit in as blended. I mean fit in where your personality shines through, where you as an individual feel like you can be yourself and where you are most happy. Most find themselves fitting in with their sport, their friend group, or maybe a club. But for me, it has never been with a group of friends or a sport where I felt like I stood out. It has always been with horses where I feel like I am myself. I started riding horses when I was 6 years old and slowly started working my way up towards owning my own horse. When I turned 9 years old, I got my first horse, Ladybug. She started my showing career and made it possible for where I am today. After years of hard work, I finally moved my way up to the highest showing level offered in the U.S., the American Quarter Horse Circuit, better known as AQHA. I also participate in OSET, Oregon High School Equestrian Teams. I am proudly the only representative of St. Anne Christian on the Willamette, CV, CHS, and now St. Anne Christian Equestrian Team. Even though horses have always been a part of my life, it took me a really long time to realize that that is where I fit in. I spent every year of high school hiding who I was, trying to fit in amongst the crowd. I even made it a point to not tell people I rode horses. I felt like an outsider, looking in on all these people who had found where they fit. There was no group for us horse girls like there were for other sports like soccer and basketball. So I hid who I was and decided to stand amongst the crowd since that was more comfortable than being alone. It is not an easy task to be someone you're not, as it goes against our nature as Christians to not be who God intended us to be. Now, I'm not saying God showed me a light and miraculously brought me back to who I was meant to be, but there are definitely some hard pushes from His end. My junior year was a really difficult year for me. I didn't like who I saw when I looked in the mirror. It wasn't me. She wasn't outgoing or caring or optimistic or even happy. She was angry and sad and tired. I pushed on through last year as long as I could until I broke. I came home from school one day and asked my mom if it was possible. I couldn't keep going back to somewhere where I just didn't feel like I belonged. Even though the thought of moving schools scared me, I knew it was right for me. I promised myself that this year would be when I finally allowed myself to just be me, no matter how scared I was. I was tired of hiding who I was, and I wanted to make friends who actually knew me and understood me. As it grew closer to the new school year, I so badly wanted to back out of my commitment to come here because it all hit me at once. There was only one thing worse in my head than being the horse girl, and that was to be the new girl, especially senior year. It was not the easiest transition for me. There were some bumps along the way, but I've started to make some amazing friends who I'm so happy to be sharing senior year with. I want to encourage all of you to not be scared to find where you belong and find who God wants you to grow to be, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone or taking a leap of faith to get there. Because what is a life worth living if we are not living it in its most honest and true form? Next will be the one and only Maddie Fields.
Why are we all here? Not just today. Not just today, but at Stadium Christian. Some of you are here because you've always been here. Some of you are here because you want to be here. And some of you are here because your parents make you. That was me 2 years ago. Some of you may know that I've been here since 4th grade. By 9th grade year, I was tired of everyone and everything. I felt as though I was burnt out and needed change. So I asked my parents if I could go to Plymouth High School. They agreed, and I was excited to have a new start. Sophomore year, a few things happened. COVID happened, and I was online all year except for 4 weeks. On top of that, I did not make good friends and made some bad choices. So my parents, in their right mind, made me come back. Honestly, I didn't want to. I already said my goodbyes. I felt awkward as though I had moved on. I didn't know how my old friends would feel and what sports would look like. However, God always has something else in mind. I got my transcripts together during the summer. I was nervous but excited to start my junior year, and that summer I reunited with my friends. They made me feel as though I never left. They didn't question me, they were just happy to see me. Now, 1 year later, I'm a senior. Now as I've matured, I look back with gratitude. Some of us take this school for granted. I would encourage you to learn from my experience. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. If you don't take the time to invest in something, it will never get better. I realize I need to do just that. I've learned through my experience how lucky we all are. We have a community surrounded by God, teachers that would do anything to help us, and friends that support us and love us. Saying that is easy, but not every school has a community like ours. We are supported by so many, you just have to look around and realize it. Now I'll bring you back to my first question. Why are we all here? Because you have always been here, because you want to be here, or because your parents make you. I guess that now, I'm actually a little bit of all of those. And yes, things get messy, and I get tired of it sometimes. We are here for 4 years, but we won't be here forever. But we are here right now, and I'm glad that we are. You all have made my time at Stadium Christian infinitely greener, and I'm glad that I can spend the rest of my high school experience watering it with you. Next up, we have Mikey.
Have you ever noticed two people with similar abilities, where one becomes highly successful and the other one does not? This is the power of discipline. It is the foundation of success in every aspect of our lives. Some benefits of discipline include improved focus and concentration, increased productivity and efficiency, development of good habits, better time management, more successful completion of goals, increased ability to handle stress, and increased sense of stability in life. We all want these things for ourselves, but what does discipline look like? Simple examples of discipline include waking up at the same time every day and keeping your living and workspace tidy. Although these things are elementary, we all know that they are not always easy to complete. In the moment, skipping short chores may seem insignificant, but the small things are what lay the foundation for more important things. This is the idea of atomic habits. Although self-discipline sounds so simple on paper, the reason people lack this trait is that it may involve doing something that you would rather not do at times. Discipline is taught through repetition. It is not something that can be decided and changed overnight. Take Patrick Mahomes, for example. You might like him, you might not. We all see him on the field, being a great quarterback, leading his team to the Super Bowl, but what we do not see is his early morning workouts and focus through the day, striving to become his best self. Discipline is the foundation of his success. There may be times where he doesn't want to give all of his effort at practice or workouts, but he still puts in the work. Patrick Mahomes is a great example of discipline. The good thing about discipline is that it becomes easier over time. For example, during the summer, I work on a golf course with Trim. I love working on this golf course, but there's only one bad part, and Kate can attest to this. Since we start at 5:30 in the morning, I have to wake up at 4:45 the latest if I want to get done. Although I enjoy the schedule because you finish most of your work in the cool of the day, finish by 1:30 so you have the rest of your day to relax, the first 2 weeks are always miserable. It starts off easy on day one, but becomes harder until it becomes a habit. I can say that working 21 days straight on the schedule definitely requires discipline to get up on time. What are tangible ways to gain discipline in your life? Set clear, measurable, and achievable goals. Break down your goals into small, easy steps. If you truly want to make a change in your life, surround yourself with people who have the same goals as you and will keep you accountable and pushing towards success. Do not become discouraged. Remember that discipline takes time to develop. Self-discipline is a powerful tool for personal and professional success. By setting clear goals, practicing self-control, and staying organized, we can achieve great things and live happier, more fulfilling lives. I encourage each and every one of you to embrace discipline in your own lives and to strive towards becoming the best version of yourselves. I challenge you to think of one small thing in your life that requires discipline and make it a habit. Tell a friend about the goal and work together to achieve it. Remember, success is not just about what you do, but also about who you become. So let's work together to build the habits of discipline and create a brighter and more fulfilling future for ourselves and those around us. Next speaker, weighed in 195 pounds and saying I had a 6'4". Yeah, and Colton.
Boys. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Luke. For the next few minutes, I would like to talk about something that I find important, and that is going to be going to church and being in a Christian community. It's very simple and should be obvious to those of us who are Christians. To those of you who aren't, I hope this is encouraging. And to those of you who claim to be Christians and don't go to church, I hope this is encouraging for you as well. I've been a Christian for over 10 years and gone to church for as long as I can remember. For the past 4 years, I've been understanding the benefits of attending church and participating in the community more and more. Most of the benefits I've received from practicing my faith and attending church weekly have been encouragement, understanding my salvation, as well as understanding how to live daily as a Christian. But to actually understand these things and gain these benefits, I actually participated. Communion became extremely important to me, as it helped me understand my salvation more. Understanding what communion really is, that being the true body and blood of Christ, gave me great confidence in life and in my faith. I really think that for those of us who go to church, it is a great starting point to understand and participate in communion because of the benefits and the community you join when you do participate. And if you do, I hope you find the same sense of confidence in community I did. Another benefit of attending church was understanding that we are wholly justified by Christ's death on the cross. As long as we have faith in that, then we do not have to worry. This made me feel confident in my day-to-day life that I have nothing hanging over my head so long as I am repentant. I was further encouraged in these thoughts by those around me in the church community. That led me to enjoying my days more and not feeling a looming sense of being wrong when my thoughts became quiet. I would not have achieved this without going to church. As for encouragement, I think being encouraged happens in various ways for different people, so it is somewhat of a broad statement to say being encouraged by church. But one of the ways you could be encouraged is being more confident in your salvation, like I mentioned earlier, or perhaps the people you attend with that encourage you. Or it could be encouraging you to live your life differently. Hopefully, if you start attending church and intentionally surrounding yourself in a Christian community, you'll start to realize how it affects your daily life. If you do already attend and participate, you probably already know that. What I personally noticed was feeling more driven to read my Bible, being mindful of my actions, and overall being happier. I started reading my Bible, and I started to understand how to live life and what is expected of me as a Christian. And yes, it's an extremely high bar, so I fall short, as we all do. But falling short of the expectation of how to live as a Christian according to the Bible did not discourage me too much. Another big thing is I also stopped swearing, and that was a huge difference that I was able to notice in weeks. That made my parents happy, and it made me feel better about what I said and who I said it to. If you struggle with swearing, definitely start reading your Bible more. And another good pro tip, don't listen to rap music as often. I know it sounds hard because we all love it, and the beats go crazy sometimes, but it genuinely helps with swearing. What you'll also realize is that being in a Christian community, you'll be influenced by the way others talk and act. That will also change what you say and your attitude. When I was intentionally interacting with the Christian community here and in my church, I noticed my interactions with people around me became more genuine and I was patient with others as I began to put myself last. Those results I experienced were from going to church weekly and regularly being in a Christian community. I would encourage you to attend church. If you can drive and your family won't attend, then be bold and go by yourself. If you can't drive, then go ask your dad if he can take you. If anything, just seek a Christian community in which you can be edified in faith. I believe you can benefit greatly from these things and hopefully begin to live a Christian life with fulfillment. Thank you.
And our next speaker is one and only Jared Papa-Wescott.
Hey everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jared Nelson. I don't know where the Pablo came from. Some of you might be wondering if I'm going to give this little speech here about the risks, thrills, dangers, and woes inherent in the task of creating homemade gunpowder. While I do plan on touching on shooting guns, gunpowder won't be the main topic of discussion. You can come ask me about it later if you'd like to know more. Now, I sat in the bleachers where you guys are and listened to seniors give speeches about pretty much everything, even hamburgers, believe it or not. But one topic that is frequently discussed, I think, is how to succeed or maybe how to survive or thrive in high school. Basically, how to win at this game we play for 4 years of our life. One thing that isn't often mentioned, though, is this. What exactly does succeeding in high school look like? So keep that question in mind while I tell this story. I like to shoot guns. In my life, I've shot lots of different guns and lots of different things for lots of different reasons. We have a field in my house with a perimeter that we put steel and camera targets in front of to shoot at. I'm not an expert marksman, but more often than not, I'm pretty good at hitting the target and shooting it. Now, I'd like you to imagine something. What if I didn't have a berm with specific targets, but instead just kind of shot into the patch of blackberries in the field? Now, I might have a general idea of whether I was aiming in the right spot and hitting something, but in reality, I would have absolutely no way to quantify my level of success. So, with all this talk about targets and shooting and succeeding in high school, I decided I would ask some of you guys at lunch what succeeding in high school would look like for you. Some of you are even featured. Many of you talked about getting good grades or turning in homework. Noah Rowley said success looks like escaping the prison. Doug said good grades and dedication. Ken McCarthy said that success is not a thing, but a person. That being Colby Hill. By and large, you guys took the very fact approach without a specific objective. In high school life, it is impossible to be successful without a benchmark for success. Now, some of you skeptics may say that I'm wrong, and that there is a benchmark. Graduating is success. The ultimate goal of high school is just to graduate. But I disagree. If I graduated high school with all D's, and never touched a football, and never halted a steer, and never stepped foot on a wrestling mat, never went to Alonzo's with the boys, or never played Reed Sports Bowling while researching campaign finance laws, but I still graduated, what an absolute failure high school would be. On the other end of things, though, I personally know people who will probably never graduate from high school or even get their GED, but who can still have success in their teenage years despite that. I believe that we can agree that we all want success, but also that it looks a little different for everybody. So what is success? Well, Max David actually got the right answer. Let me tell you this. If there was one guy who would pull through for me on the survey, I knew it had to be Barton. So I asked him, and he said, success is succeeding at your own personal goals. Bingo. Setting specific, measurable, well-thought-out goals for yourself has the potential to create an enormous amount of success in your life. These goals you make should push you gently but firmly out of your comfort zone. Additionally, making these goals, writing them down, and reading them regularly will give you legitimate motivation to accomplish them. Personal goals have been my #1 tool for success in high school, and I believe that they can be yours as well. With all that being said, I want to wrap up the shooting example and leave you guys with one last thought. If you don't have a target, you cannot possibly hit it. Thank you.